Hey, what's up, everyone? Well, thank you for tuning in. Welcome. I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday. Tuesday, we got quite a bit of topics that we want to talk about. We want to discuss mainly around the NFL when it comes to just like retirements, releasing, and then also injury updates as well too. I want to talk about Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs and how he's doing. And I always think of like Tuesday for me is like the day that HOA comes around and takes pictures to see who left their trash cans out. So tonight or today, I gotta make sure I put my trash can in before they get me. So, but let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk about is the New York Giants are actually interviewing right here Brian Daboll. It's the second interview they had with him, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's a good hire. If you have Brian Flores go through there through the interview process with the Giants, I think he's your guy. I think he's a good fit. I think he has a grit to last in New York. The rumors that were kind of circulating around in Miami were that, and this is just multiple sources, I don't know if this to be true, but pretty much the GM who's been there for 20 years, had some guys and just bumped heads with Brian Flores. And Brian Flores stuck it out. I think he wanted to play Tua for a little while. Then Brian Flores wanted to play someone else. But at the end of the season, it was either Brian Flores or the GM. And basically, Flores got the boot. I think Flores is a great fit for New York. I think it's a great fit for the Giants. I don't know why they would bring in Daboll and interview him twice. I think he may be the guy ever since the Bills, got kicked out. But that's what the Giants are doing. Another thing, too, Josh Gordon actually got released, or is going to be moved to the practice squad if he clears I think his physical and whatnot, and they brought somebody else up. But you can tell that Josh Gordon just wasn't a fit for that offense. That offense is fast. Josh Gordon's fast, but we haven't really seen a good glimpse of Josh Gordon since he's been with the Browns. So maybe we'll see what happens to him in the offseason. I know he's still young. He still has some game left in him, but I don't project or think that they're going to do anything with him. Next thing, so Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, they need him back desperately. If they're going to play the Bengals, they're going to need him back badly. If the Bills, shred your secondary, imagine what Cincinnati Bengals are going to do when they shred your secondary. So I hope he clears protocol and whatnot. He's out there because the Honey Badger is going to be needed back. So we got word there were some interviews, some conversations around Rodgers, Brady, and Gronk. No one really cares about Gronk. Gronk retiring, because he's pretty much Brady's buddy boy. No one really cares about Gronk retiring. He's he's going to be one of the greatest tight ends ever. All thanks to Bill Belichick. But Aaron Rodgers is an interesting one. I want to talk a little bit about this. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. I don't think Tom Brady's going to retire, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire either. Will he go to another team? I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers right now is too good to retire. And as much as the baggage, so think of it like this, all right? So I worked my first job. The first job, like I consider where I was making a living on my own and taking care of myself. I worked at a gym. And I was selling gym memberships. And, I got to the point where I was selling gym memberships. And when I started off, I started in this like little small office. It was actually where people would they would do their time sheets and clock in and clock out. So it really wasn't an office because people would walk in and out every single day. I would be in the office and I would, try to make cold calls and whatnot. And there was this other salesperson who would come in and I would really only see him work around 2 to 3 hours a day. This guy almost never worked. So, as the months go by, and I sit here and I think to myself, like, why is this guy coming in when he wants to come in? So I say, I'm going to the manager. So I go to the manager, right? I sit down with the manager. I say, hey, look, homeboy's coming in and whenever he wants, what's up with that? He looks at me. He goes to his computer, types something in, pulls something on the screen, turns the screen around and says, hey, look. He said, hey, Seth, look, this is how much you bring into the gym. This is how much he brings into the gym. He said, when you get on his level, then we'll talk. And after that, I didn't say a word because that's how Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers, as much as he brings in the turmoil with COVID, the situation, going on the Pat McAfee show, tweeting stuff out, what was going on in the organization this past summer. He's great. So all the baggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers, for him doing what he wants to do, I'm telling you, it's just as equal on the field. So I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot back. Where he'll go, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him back in Green Bay. But if he leaves Green Bay, to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen in that franchise. I know Devontae Adams is going to be looking for them to bring somebody in or a big name in. I don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, and realistically, I really can't see him going anywhere. That you think of teams that are right now that are Super Bowl ready. Like the Saints need a quarterback, they're desperately for a quarterback. Michael Thomas coming back with Aaron Rodgers, that would be a crazy combination. I'm trying to think. Other than the Saints, I think that's the only team I can think of off the top of my head that is where he could go. So I expect Rodgers to be back. Now Brady's a different story. First of all, Brady's not retiring. Brady is one of the most heralded players in the NFL history, and Tom Brady literally, for him to end his career like this is not Tom Brady like. You guys have pumped rainbows up his butt for so many years. You think Tom Brady's just going to walk away? No, Tom Brady's going to be back next year. We'll see with Tampa Bay, because that's where he meshes well with, and I think he'll rest easy retiring with Tampa Bay. Here's why. Having a tour where you retire is something special. And that's what's happening now with players, whether they're good or not. It's momentous because every time they step on the field, you're selling tickets. You're watching them. It draws attention. It's so magnified when you have players now of that status retire. So throughout Brady's whole career, it's like my sister playing. I used to play video games with my sister when she was little. My parents would say, "Hey Seth, look, you can play video games." And there's 6 kids in the house. My two little sisters, they want to play video games with me sometimes. They say, "Seth, you can play, but your sister has to play with you." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I would literally get the video games. Whatever game we're playing, I plug my controller in. I would not plug her controller in. So my sister's there. She's playing, and she didn't know sometimes. I say, "Great, good job." Or I just disable her controller and let the computer play, right? You can select. I'll disable her controller. So she thinks she's doing a good job, and she's not doing anything. And I'm telling her she's doing a good job. Hey, good job, good job, good job. You're doing amazing, whatever, right? So I can play video games. That's pretty much Tom Brady his whole career. He had to be average to be great, meaning he didn't have to be someone great like Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning. He had to be vanilla his whole career for him to be successful, and he did. So I expect Brady to be back. If Brady's back, Gronk's back. So that's my perspective on it. So I did want to talk about the overtime rule. It's crazy how society is so, that's not fair, they should have had opportunity. There's a reason why there's separation between college football and NFL. I like the rule. Some teams don't want to go on offense first because they have a better defense. So with overtime in NFL, it's not about everyone getting a turn. It's about, can your defense step up? Even Josh Allen said himself, "Hey, look, it's the rule. And if we won the toss, we would be going to the next round." I don't think they would, but they said they'll be going to the next round. So this overtime rule, when people tweeting out saying, "Oh, it needs to change," the overtime rule does not need to change. Don't change the overtime rule just because of one scenario. Even the other scenarios, they try to make the game quicker, reducing it to 10 minutes, and teams still didn't score. But the difference between the NFL and college is a lot of those stats are hijacked or how can I say manipulated, or what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of the stats are skewed because they're starting from the 2-yard line. They're starting from the 1-yard line, right? And then it's like a point, it's not actual touchdown. Or 2 points, not actual touchdown. They have to go for 2 points. They have to kick a field goal. I like the fact that they can add those stats on in real game time. And also in the NFL, the system isn't meant to break the tie. It's okay if there's ties, right? Because the college football playoff is completely different than the NFL. So there's always some algorithm in the NFL that they can use to determine who should be in the playoffs and who shouldn't be in the playoffs. So the overtime rule, switching that, don't switch it. If you're worried about getting the ball first, then have a good defense. Have your defense ready. But it's the NFL. It's not everyone. It should be fair. Everyone should get a chance. Just throw it out the door. Um, One of the things I did want to talk about was Andy Reid, man. So Andy Reid, I was just kind of gandering and looking at, what he's done in his body of work since he's been in the NFL. I think he's number 4 or 5, number 5 on the list of all-time wins behind George Haas, Don Shula, Bill Belichick, and let me check to see who. If I look that up right now, all-time. Coaching wins in the NFL. Andy Reid is, he's number 5 on the list of all of career wins. So literally, he's only behind Don Shula, George Halas, Bill Belichick, Tom Landry, and Andy Reid. So he's number 5. His win percentage is .633 as well too. So that's pretty impressive. I didn't know Mike Schottenheimer was out there. He had 200 wins. That's pretty solid. But yeah, Andy Reid, Belichick sitting there at 290. Don Shula's 328. So Belichick really only has 38 more 38 more wins, and he can beat Don Shula. So I don't expect Belichick to retire until he gets more wins than that, and he still looks like he has a lot of life in him. But yeah, so Andy Reid, man, just marveling at his career and what he's done, his body of work as a coach is crazy. He's believe it or not, he's coached not since his 8th season with the Kansas City. So 8 seasons at Kansas City. Out of the last since 2016, right? So the last 6 years, he's had first place in the AFC West. So the last 6 years, he's been in first place in the AFC West, and this is with Alex Smith and Mahomes. He's made the playoffs since 2015. Now, dating back to Philly, he had one season where he was 5-11. The next 5 or 6, 5 years, they didn't win less than 11 games, and they were first in the NFC East 4 out of the 5 times. They had a one down year. They went 10-6, and then with Philly, you have to understand when we lost in the Super Bowl in 2004, man, Don McNabb just didn't. I don't know what's wrong with Buddy. T.O. literally I think had 7 receptions. If I go to that Super Bowl game, man, like. T.O. was a ball player in that Super Bowl game. I don't care what anyone says. The reason we lost was McNabb. Plain and simple. I can't put anything on T.O. T.O. had a broken ankle. So on a broken ankle in the Super Bowl, T.O. had 9 receptions, 122 yards. All right, on 14 targets. All right, the next best option that we had was Brian Westbrook. And let's the Super Bowl, we weren't supposed to lose that game. But what happened? Don McNabb in that game, he threw 3 picks. We had no running game. Brian Westbrook was doing most of his damage out the back of the field. But Andy Reid, just as a coach, Andy Reid was really, he did amazing. His last season in Philly was just tumultuous. Like I'm not sure who was a quarterback. I think the quarterback, who do we have? Who was the quarterback that year we had? It was awful. I'm not sure who it was, but that year was bad. And then we had Chip Kelly in, which was the demise of Philly's just a bad couple years for us. Literally, Chip Kelly comes to the Eagles was like literally getting married and then your wife running all your friends away and then divorcing you. Chip Kelly came to the Eagles, and then he literally took all of our players and ran them away. Vic McCoy, and Deshaun Jackson, all of them went away. We had Jerry Maclin, and he eventually left and went to Kansas City with Andy Reid. And we were working with some bums at receiver. We had Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper, man, he was trash. So when he came, Eagles went through a couple of rough years. But just crazy how he went 4-12. He immediately went to the Colts and went 11-5. The Kansas City went 11-5. Ever since he's been at Kansas City, he's never had a losing record. So that's one thing to note. His coaching tree is amazing. His coaching tree is Brad Childress, John Harbaugh, Steve Spagnuolo, Leslie Frazier, Ron Rivera, Pat Schumer, Todd Bowles, Doug Peterson, Sean McDermott, Matt Nagy, and David Culley. Literally, like his coaching tree is just phenomenal. Some of the coaches that have actually coached under him and gone on to do well in the league. It's really interesting to see, and I'm just marveling at Andy Reid, what he's done. I don't see anybody beating the Chiefs right now. I think that the Chiefs they punch they punch the Bengals in the mouth. I do expect the Rams and the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl. I think that's going to be a great game. I think they played on Monday night a couple of years ago, and it was a phenomenal game. It was a back and forth, a lot of defense, a lot of offense. So I do think that it's going to be a great Super Bowl. We got some good teams in here. Oh, that is one thing I did say. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. So basically, the last game of the season, the Rams played the 49ers at SoFi, and at SoFi, literally the 49ers fans literally took over SoFi. Even Matt Stafford said, "Hey, look, I don't know if we were at home or not because the fans were going crazy." So literally, Ticketmaster. So check this out: the notice on Ticketmaster that restricted NFC Championship games tickets to Los Angeles area zip codes had abruptly and just abruptly disappeared from the ticketing site on Monday morning. So basically, the Rams, the Ticketmaster took off and restricted only buying tickets for that area, certain tickets for that area, basically trying to rule the 49ers fans in the Bay Area to come out. I don't know if they're that desperate. To be honest, I don't think the Rams even played that hard because they knew they were in the playoffs. So I don't think they were like trying to just play as hard as they could because I think they were already in the playoffs, and it really wasn't a concern from them. So they said that it was COVID policies and that's the reason why they're doing it. And I don't know. I mean, the Rams. I don't think that they're in cahoots with Ticketmaster to do that. But if they do that, that's pretty weak. So, but we'll see what happens this week. Man, some good football going on. A lot of things that are going to be changing. I think we're going to see happen in upcoming week. But quick show today. That's pretty much it. I always want to cover. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Definitely want to dive into some X's and O's and some basketball here in a little bit. I want to talk about the Lakers and the Sixers and my squad and see how they're doing. The Lakers are not my squad, the Sixers are my squad. So I do want to talk more about the Ben Simmons situation, provide my own analysis and thoughts on that. But if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, look, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'm out.